For months, the 7 investigators have been digging into some of the Detroit Police Department's most troubled officers.
And tonight, our first report is on a cop who's been accused of misconduct at an alarming level. Since he joined the force, Officer Stephen Koo has repeatedly been accused of excessive force and using hostile and racist language. He's also accused of harassing people of color who say their biggest crime was being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
7 investigator Ross Jones joins us now with what he's learned.
It's a story you'll see only here on 7.
Being myself an African American, I don't put much stock into the police force anymore.
There was a time when Jay Brown dreamt of becoming a Detroit cop, but that changed the day he came face to face with one.
I started opening my door to step out of my vehicle, and that's when the cop car came blazing up on me.
In broad daylight in September of 2015, Brown was pulling up to a rental property he helped manage near Fenkell and Greenfield when he says Officer Stephen Koo pulled up to him.
He told me not to move, asked me where the drugs are there drugs in my vehicle, are there drugs in the house that I'm approaching, what am I doing here? And I said, no, sir, I do not know what's going on. I'm just here to check on some rental property.
Nearly the whole time, he said Koo's gun was trained on his chest.
Still holding a gun on you after 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I'm asking you, pleading with you, can you please lower your weapon?
He said Koo used profanity and was demeaning, that he searched his vehicle but found no drugs or stolen weapons, and before Koo left, according to the complaint, he wrote him a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt and then said this.
He just said, he's just another stupid
Do you have any doubt at all that he used the N-word?
I have no doubt in my mind that he used the N-word. If you feel that strongly about the color of my skin, you probably shouldn't be an officer in the city of Detroit.
Jay filed a citizen's complaint against Officer Koo, seen here on Facebook, that included allegations he used racist language and unnecessary force. Koo denied both. It was hardly the first time he'd been accused. The average uniformed officer in Detroit has received just over 8 citizen complaints, according to DPD data. Some go their entire career without receiving one. But Stephen Koo, in his 12 years on the force, has received 85. We could not find any officer who's amassed that many that quickly. And for Koo, virtually every complaint against him where race is listed is lodged by a person of color.
It's somewhat of a concerning pattern, simply because you would probably want to see a mix of different races that we're talking about.
They rolled the window down and they asked us, do we have any guns or drugs on us?
DeAndre Reed and his brother were standing outside on the street where they live when Officer Koo and his partner pulled up.
We said no. They told us to lift up our shirts and do a complete circle so they could see our waistband. We complied.
He said Koo handcuffed him, searched him, then saw that DeAndre had an outstanding traffic warrant. It was then, according to the complaint, that Koo said this.
Thank my dumb brother that I'm going to jail.
He used that word.
Yes. He said it like that's something that he always says. He was very confident in saying it.
And Reed's neighbor was a witness.
And he was like, this is because of your brother. And I was like, whoa, man, hold on, wait a minute.
Reed was jailed and then released. After he filed a complaint against Koo with the city's Office of Chief Investigator. Reed and 3 witnesses said Koo used the N-word. The only person who didn't was Koo. The complaint was sustained, but Koo appealed and with no reason documented, his commanding officer later dismissed the charge. Even today, DPD couldn't tell us why.
But family, out there in New York, I think the guy is Dominican. The minute I saw him, I said, okay, this is a Hispanic guy. And as we know in New York, even yesterday in New York, it was some park out there. It looked like thousands of white people out there just chilling. Not one cop, nothing. But in the black area, they out there just smacking up like 2 or 3 black people who are standing next to each other. Okay? So they're not trying to hide the fact that they are ethnically and racially targeting black people at this point. We don't have to point out the disparities no more. They know, just like I'm pointing out the white people being protected at the park and the black people getting smacked up in the black neighborhoods, we can keep doing that back and forth, but I don't even want to waste time keep doing that. I've been doing that for the last month. We see what it is. Now it's all about protecting ourselves. Now it's all about protecting ourselves. We have a God-given right to. Now let me show you this video. This video is going viral. It has gone viral today, of this Hispanic race soldier who's been put in this position by the white supremacists to harm black folks. All right? Now let me play the video clip. Hold on one second, let me pull it up here. Now this was in New York yesterday. All right? Okay, here we go. For those who have not seen this. So they're roughing up a black man and a black woman. Okay, let me put some context to what they're doing real quickly. Let me put some context to what they're doing. Okay, so they're roughing up a black man and a black woman in New York. They were just sitting outside talking. They weren't even violating the social distancing law. They weren't even up on each other. They were spread apart from each other. So they were more than 6 feet away from each other. The sister was standing up and the brother was just kind of sitting outside. And the race soldiers just came and started roughing them up. He just started roughing them up. Then a bystander, brother was like, hey, what are y'all doing? The Dominican looking, and I'm going to say he's Dominican, but I don't know, he's a Hispanic. He started smacking up the innocent brother and gaffling him up. All right, so let me play the rest of this just to give you context. Just to give you context of what's going on. All right. Oh. Okay, now notice this little stubby. This is the stubby little Hispanic one right here. Now he's pointing the taser indiscriminately at just random people. He's out here pointing his taser to everybody. Two innocent black people were just standing there talking, and they just start roughing them up under the guise of social distancing violations.
Move the fuck back. What you flexing for? Don't flex. You let stuff just hand. Look. He ain't even do nothing. He ain't even do nothing. Look. He ain't even do nothing. He ain't even do nothing. He pussy. That nigga pussy. That nigga pussy. Fuck out of here. That's why I got all that. I got all that. He got all that.
Okay, all right, that's enough of that. Okay. All right. So he smacked that gentleman up, and the brother, 3 black folks got arrested. The brother who he just smacked up, they charged him with assaulting a cop. That brother's in jail now. I'm trying to get in touch with the family because I want to bail the brother out. I'm trying to get in touch with the family to get all his information. I think his name is Donnie Wright. I'm still trying to, if anybody knows that brother's family, let me know what's happening. I want to know what precinct he's in. I've been trying to do a little research before I started tonight's broadcast, but I want to get that brother out of jail because I heard he's still in there today. I want to check and see if he's still in there. But this type of shit, we can't let our folks go out like this. We cannot let our folks go out like this. Now, it was us, a lot of people on the grassroots, who found out this cop's information. People started to do photo enlargements of his badge number, and I put up his picture earlier. Sean King was getting some information about him. Shout out to Sean King. And around the same time, we started a lot of information started flooding in. Then we found out that his name was Francisco X. Garcia. So I knew he was Hispanic when I saw him. And the reason I knew he was Hispanic is because for the most part, even we do have a couple of coon black, foundational black American cops. We do. But for the most part, foundational black American cops don't do all that. So I already knew he was a Hispanic coon. You know, he's not a foundational black American, no. I already knew that. Foundational black American cops, and I know a lot of foundational black American cops who's actually hella cool. So if there's something going down, if the race soldiers tell them to go out there and get the blacks in line, at least a lot of the foundational black American cops come out there and talk to you. Hey, like, hey, brother, man, just go ahead and get off the block for right now, man. You know, it's hot out here. They'll talk to you and let you know what's up for the most part. So I already know how a lot of black cops get down. A lot of them are actually cool. You do have your coons, but a lot of the black cops are actually cool. They ain't doing all that shit right there. That right there is a motherfucker, because I had some white supremacists like, well, he looks black. Oh, stop it. That's not one of us, just by his actions. And sure enough, we found out he's one of these self-hating Hispaniards, most likely a Dominican. And when we look at this man's track record, Francisco, this man has, let's show you some of his stuff, because we've done a lot of research on Officer Francisco Garcia. This guy has a whole list of federal and local lawsuits against his ass. This guy has been named in about 7, 8 lawsuits that the city of New York has had to pay out, and the federal government they had to pay out, using our damn tax dollars. This guy's been beating black folks up, brutalizing black folks since 2014. This guy's named in all types of brutality lawsuits. Francisco Garcia. So he's been out here just beating black folks up all willy-nilly at the request of the white supremacists. Let's be very clear. No, somebody said he should be fired. Family, they know his record. Let's come on, listen. Listen, family. Don't act like the department don't know what he's doing. Please don't act like the department don't know what he's doing. They're saying he should be fired. Family, there's a reason why they have him out here. When you have all of those lawsuits against you and you're still out here beating people up, that's because the white supremacists in law enforcement want him out there.
I was like, oh my God, what are these cops doing? They're not even really doing their job.
When you have all of those lawsuits against you and you're still out here beating people up, that's because the white supremacists in law enforcement want him out there. They want him out there. They want this guy on the streets. And you know why they want him on the streets? They want him on the streets. He's helping to create the crime. What he does, he goes out here and he starts smacking folks around. When you smack anybody around, they're going to have some kind of reaction like, hey, stop, quit, whatever. And then he charges people for the reaction. So they're going out there actually entrapping people by beating on them. That's why they hired him, and he's their fall guy. They get a Dominican to do it, and they'll try to be like, well, this isn't race. I mean, this guy, look at, he has nigger features. I mean, it can't be about race. So they get these self-hating, foundational black American hating, buffer class coons to do their dirty work for them, and this nigga's glad to do it, and he's protected. This dude is protected by the department. You understand? That means that you're going to have to defend yourself from this psychopathic terrorist. You don't have to let this asshole whoop your ass based on race. We can be very open about that. You have a God-given and a constitutional right not to be dominated by racial tyranny. You don't have to let this motherfucker beat you up like that. Or your family like that. You understand? This guy is sanctioned by the police department to go out here and instigate crimes. When, look, crime is low, they go out there and create the crime. If crime is low and they need to get some arrests under their belts, if they need to get a few felonies under their belt, they just go out there and just start smacking people up, beating them up, and any way you react, they're going to say, well, you just assaulted me. If you put your hands up, you just assaulted me, so that's a felony. So we got 3 felonies just like that. And you weren't doing anything. Black folks, that's tyranny. You don't have to live like that.
For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand.
This guy is sanctioned by the police department to go out here and instigate crimes. When, look, crime is low, they go out there and create the crime. If crime is low and they need to get some arrests under their belts, if they need to get a few felonies under their belt, they just go out there and just start smacking people up, beating them up, and any way you react, they're going to say, well, you just assaulted me. If you put your hands up, you just assaulted me, so that's a felony. So we got 3 felonies just like that. And you weren't doing anything. Black folks, that's tyranny. You don't have to live like that. You don't have to live like that. Somebody said, what do I suggest? Motherfucker, what's understood don't have to be explained. What do you suggest? I suggest you shut the fuck up and stop acting dumb. When it comes time to deal with power, niggas want to act dumb. I suggest you do what white people would do. That's what I suggest, nigga. You do what white people do. What do white people do when they're dealing with tyranny? That's what I suggest. I'm not going to sit up here and lay out a map for your ass. You want to play dumb? What do you suggest we do? Do the same thing you do to other niggas. Do what you do when a nigga do you wrong. When a black person do you wrong, you know what to do then. You know exactly what to do, and you risk it all to do it too. Man, I don't know now. I might go to jail for life. You in jail for life for killing another nigga, beating another nigga. You do anything to another black person. You risk it all to do something to another black person. But when somebody else do something to you, I was confused. Let's go down to the Edmund Pettus Bridge and get in some good trouble. Yeah? Now it's good trouble time. You don't know what to do. Now it's good trouble time. Niggas want to act dumb. Stop. You know how to stop somebody from terrorizing your ass. You know how to do that.
There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community.